This podcast and its content was created and recorded on Kaurna land. We would like to acknowledge the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the land we reside on, and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today.
Welcome to Here We Crow, episode 43.
Whoa, 43.
We've been around for a long, long time.
Can you believe it, Sam? 43.
43
I can't believe it.
consecutive weeks. It's too bad there's no crows that have had that number. So, Sam, hi.
Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Lauren. How you going?
Hey, yeah, good, feeling the heat.
And Ben.
Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Jesus. Well, up and about.
33 degrees.
Boop, boop. I'm suffering heat exhaustion already. It's been
Same.
2 days,
Do you want the aircon on?
maybe.
I was
Talk
whinging
about
about rain last week. This week I'm whinging about the heat. So
Yeah.
get used to it.
Yeah. No 25s in Adelaide. 18, 32.
I know, right? Exactly. I actually said that exact same thing this afternoon.
And then back to 18 in the next couple of days.
Surprisingly, we've still got a fair bit to talk about at the moment. That's why we're still here. The
We'll see
AFL,
about
That's why
that.
we're talking about the weather.
the AFLW Crows went down to Melbourne after a fast start. They lost their momentum, a bit like this podcast. And they now have
I thought we
to.
got better.
Now they stay around to play Collingwood this week at Unley on the Saturday. We have 4 in the All Australian squad.
Woo!
Amazing. Great to see Chelbo in there. We'll talk a bit more about that later.
Stealing one of my goods, Dan.
Yeah.
He's fucking relentless. He's got nothing to say.
Yeah, he's
But
gonna-
also-
Because I didn't do the run
he's
sheet.
gonna
He's just
start talking
stealing all
about
the
singers
content.
I said there was no 43s, but it was a bit facetious of me. There has been 2 43s
Yes.
in the Crows' history. One was Aidan Riley, and the other one is Riley
Yeah,
Friend
let's-
of the pod.
Yeah.
O'Brien.
let's not rush past Aidan Riley, though. 12 games for the Crows. Picked him up in 2011. Injury riddled. Broke his hand. Sickening leg fracture after that. We delisted him. Melbourne picked him up. He's played for Sturt after another 13 games with Melbourne. 103 Sandful games. Retired in 2019 with a premiership. Nickname of Pig Dog.
Oh, Big Dog. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Apparently, AFL team he supports is the West Coast Eagles. Neither of the teams he played for. So had a good experience in there. And his favourite movie is Ace Ventura.
Ooh,
Cool.
You've done your research, man.
And that's what
How do
happens
you know
when
this?
that's what happens when there's not very many players to have to research.
Now, I expect you've done the same with our huge number 43 currently.
I'm sorry.
Riley.
I want to go back to the Ace Ventura thing. What interview did you get that from? 1996 interview with
no,
Aidan Riley?
no,
or?
it's just some old Sturt profile.
Yeah.
And his
thing.
favourite quote is, "I must ask you a question."
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Sorry, I assume you had some Rob facts.
No, Rob speaks for himself.
All right, pre-game warm-up.
That was the quickest off-the-cuff button press I think I've ever done.
Did well.
I'm going to make
Wasn't
it even
that quick.
shorter in editing.
I think you almost made my intro look good. But
All right, we got a big beer today from Uraidla. This is Telekinesis, which is triple IPA. That's 3 I's before the PA.
This is concerning.
Yeah, this is a big
'cause
beer.
I'm on a health kick. I
Look
say
at
that all the time.
how many times
but
this
all
year?
I've had to eat today is some like trail mix,
Yeah.
some yogurt, and some Vita Wheats with avocado on it.
You're
so
definitely going to feel this.
You are going to be wankered off.
I'm going to be
wanking.
like, woo!
Yeah. So this is 11%. It's a small can and it's 2.9
Oh,
standard
that's
drinks.
fucked.
It pours thick and it looks genuinely like juice in the glass. Now that we've
Sam,
poured it
you
out.
are a bad man.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this beer, and I was really keen to try it on the podcast. It's fairly new.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
God.
pungent, isn't it? It's a big beer.
And due to your lack of driving, you might get half of mine, I think, Sam.
Okay, yeah, fair call.
And
Yep.
mine.
So yeah,
It's
sorry.
a little bit topical. I popped into the Uraidla show on
Oh, did
Sunday
you?
with the kids.
Yeah, nice.
Just
Oh, so you go to the Uraidla show, but not the Strathalbyn show? What's wrong with you, Dan?
Yeah, I didn't hear good things about the Strath show.
What was your review of the Uraidla show?
The Uraidla show was great. Yeah, enjoyed it. Good time. Kids, I let the kids lead the way because I had really no idea what I was doing. Solo parenting with a hangover after Idols.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it was a good time.
Nice. That's good.
Cool.
Music?
Yeah.
Who's going first?
Cool drinks. Yeah.
All right, Dan, I'll run this.
I'll go first, seeing as Dan always
I
goes
forgot I was
first.
hosting for a second.
I thought you might have. You're just trailing off.
We don't know what we're doing anymore. So we're going to talk about Idols later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But the night of Idols was actually a big clash for me because one of my favourite Melbourne bands, and you know I love Melbourne bands, was playing at the Metro, and I was really worried that I was going to miss it. But I didn't. I didn't miss it. And I got there and I got to see them play, and they were awesome. You may remember back in the day, I played a song from Blake Scott, who was from the Peep Temple.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Ship and Airplane are a 4-piece, and they have 2 members who are from the Peep Temple who aren't Blake Scott. Anyway, they are really good. They have 2 albums out. One's called Altamura, and the other one is called Sharks. I'm going to play a track from Sharks. The song is called Beer. Very instrumental.
Cut that off too early.
Yeah, I
like
did.
that bit.
We needed.
I like that bit too.
Yeah.
The down chord.
Yeah.
All right, well, you can figure it out later. Good band, really good band. Kind of like droney instrumental stuff.
I think their name doesn't do them any favours. I was thinking that when I was listening to them the other day after you told me to listen to them. They sound like a band that would play on Triple J with long hair and Birkenstocks.
Not at all like that.
No, they're not. No, not at all. But that's what their name seems to indicate.
Also, do you know what I love about them? All 4 of them sing part like the different songs. The drummer sings, the bass player sings, the 2 guitarists sing. They all have their own sections. The show was so sick. Anyway, I don't think that was a very good representation of.
No, that was a terrible clip.
I picked a bad spot for the song.
Yeah.
What about this song? Should have started with that one.
I think we will put that one in.
Yeah. Anyway, that song's called No Stars, and that's actually probably my favourite song off the Sharks record. I've put 2 songs on the playlist.
Is that allowed?
I'm allowing it.
She's done it before.
Ben, do you have any comments, thoughts on what you just heard from Shepherd and Airplane?
Seemed all right.
Oh,
We've got an all right.
no.
Seemed all right.
Yeah, I thought he might like that.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. So says me. Dan?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Get
your
around
fans, yeah. Anyway, underwhelming.
That's good.
Underwhelming response.
No, I really liked it.
Why didn't you guys come to the show?
Look, we're old.
I'm older than both of you.
Yeah, I know you are.
No one invited me.
You are.
Sorry,
you have a lot more stamina than us. I was buggered after Idols, so
too.
I couldn't keep going.
Well, do you know, I made the huge mistake of not having dinner before Idols, so I had to tread very carefully on Saturday.
Dan and I made the bad mistake of drinking heavily before Idols.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, let's move on, Dan. It's your turn.
Yeah, I just want to talk about a band out of Sydney / the Blue Mountains, and
Guess what?
yes,
That's where I was born.
woo,
Really?
amazing, good people come from there apparently. Now, this is another band. The Metro seems to have this bit of a habit of getting these underrated bands from interstate that no one's really heard of come down and play, and I think this is another case of that. When I went over to play in Sydney in Blue Mountains with, I Can't Believe It's Not Weezer, a gentleman called Matt Downey put on the show. He's got a little PR label there called Barney Collins with his partner in crime, not his actual partner, but Carly runs it with him. His band called Litter, I've just put out an album in the last week. It's called Vignettes of Despondency. And the lead single off of it was Hate Will Own You, which is this one that I'm going to play. I just have to say at that show, if you picture the Metro, Matt spent the whole show just out in the crowd on the ground there, and just screaming, and like his whole like energy is huge. He looks a bit like Bob Fossil from Mighty Bush.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, it's just like packs a punch. Great front man. So really, really good. Lauren, thoughts?
Yeah, I actually didn't mind that at all. I thought it's reminded me a little bit of a band we played a few weeks ago, Sam I Am. Bit of that kind of vibe.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs that are a bit Sam I Am-ish on there.
Yeah. Cool.
Sam borders on what like I don't like, but I thought that was good.
Cool. And Ben.
Yeah, I had a verging on okay.
Love it.
Is that the first time Ben's been all right with both songs out of a week?
Hey, verging on okay is not all right.
Yeah, I think that
lift your standards, Sam.
Yes.
I don't know what it's going to take to get Ben really excited about the music.
No.
Maybe he selects it.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Good things, Lauren.
Yep.
You said you had something.
Oh, I've got something.
Oh, God.
I'm here to tell you that my DJ career is
I saw this post.
coming back.
Oh, my God.
And then I saw 90s hits and I was like, this is fucking
Now,
shit.
obviously, we do have some big fans of my throwback hits on the
Do we?
pod.
Who?
Kate from Instagram,
Oh, yeah.
Meg, friend of the pod, Meg, and multiple others, let's be
true,
real.
actually.
Do you get them from all the people that send me letters about
Yeah,
my
I get letters about the 90s
Yeah.
throwbacks. Anyway, I...
Sorry. I was just going to say, Ben had to change address because of all the mail he was getting.
The feedback I got from those tomato chips was
Yeah.
just overwhelming.
Ben's got a PO box now, so he can go through it at his leisure.
Yeah.
I am making my DJ comeback at the Crown and Anchor Hotel next Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah, because that's the cheap schooner night.
Right.
So I'm going to be playing all the 90s throwback hits to young people who have never heard them before. It's going to be pretty fun. But if you're free Wednesday, take Thursday off. Come on down. I'm going to be DJing with my friend DJ and Face. He is the king of nostalgia hits, 90s and noughties. And
What is your DJ name?
my DJ name is DJ Failure.
I saw that. I thought it was good. Quite good.
It's a little bit topical, but I'm making a DJ comeback as well.
Are you, Dan?
I am DJing at the Year 6 graduation at my kids' school.
What do you play there?
Oh, I've asked them to send me what they listen to because I don't
We
know
Are
what
the
the Year 6
Champions.
listen to.
Lord? Bit
No,
of
there's
Lord?
no Lord.
Bit of Billie Eilish?
That's old.
Billie
Even
Oh,
Billie
is it?
Eilish is not on there.
What?
Oh, you're
It's
just
crazy.
You just load
There's a
up
bit
TikTok.
of Doja Cat.
Load up TikTok and just play whatever comes up on there.
Pretty much. They haven't even got Lizzo on there. I can't believe it.
Oh,
Well, these kids.
what a joke.
good.
Anyway, next Wednesday night, Cranker Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
We've called the night the Splice Girls.
Yeah, so that was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Anyway,
All
that's
right, we
my
might as well
that's
go.
my good.
We'll go straight into some more music.
Yeah.
I thought Idols were amazing last Saturday, on Saturday night. I think the sound was as good as I've heard from a band that's that loud and that raucous. I know the Gov generally, depending on where you stand, generally has pretty good sound. But yeah, that was quite amazing where we were. I think that was fantastic.
I don't think I've been to a lot of shows at the Governor High Marsh Hotel, like a lot, and I don't actually think I've ever gone to a show that had that much energy in the room.
Yeah.
Like it was really intense.
Yeah.
I was standing right at the back behind the mixing desk, so kind of half outside. And I said to I was standing with a mate and I turned to him. I was like, man, can you feel that heat? Like just the heat coming off the crowd was so intense. It was a really amazing show.
Yeah.
Really
Has
good.
the Gov just gone up a notch now that they've done their renovations? Like I feel like it's even better. Like it's always been good, but it's even better.
Yeah. The beer garden's like, it's a cooler hangout area, I think, for sure.
And
Yeah.
what another good to tack onto that is the photography by our very own Lauren
Oh, thanks,
on the
Dan.
night. I'll look forward to splashing out in a print when you release those at some point.
I
Like on your
mean,
Pixie set? Do you want to release
legally,
a link?
I'm not allowed to.
Oh,
but,
yeah, of course.
One day.
Maybe.
You can talk to me later.
Someone works at a printing place on this podcast and might be able to get it done.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But don't tell Live Nation Australia that.
They won't be listening.
I felt really privileged to be able to capture that show. We got kicked out after one song, which is standard 3 songs, but I think the tour manager was a bit scared.
Yeah.
Because that was the smallest crowd they've played to this entire tour.
Yeah.
It was like what's the Gov, 800 cap?
Not sure.
But he said it was the most energy he's felt,
Yeah.
which I don't know,
think
kind
was
of
legit.
believed him. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks to Idols for sharing some of my photos this week. My Instagram's popping off.
The Zinger Stack is now in a rap format.
Oh,
How
yeah.
good.
So
Yes.
we're going to order some right now using the money you've sent us for t-shirts.
I hope you're serious.
It's on the secret menu if anybody...
Oh, is that where it is?
yeah, it's in there. You have to do the drag down if anyone doesn't know that in the
I didn't
KFC
know
app.
that.
Yeah.
What?
So
Looking right now.
$7.95, absolute bargain. I actually didn't have one. The app didn't work when I was ordering the other night, so I had to go there. And
Oh,
you
that's
can't
the
get
worst.
it when it's an app special. So anyway, no good.
So going by our recent sales, are we just sharing the one between us all?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I've got another good one. This one's a bit niche. I don't know if no one watches soccer here, do you? There was a Rotherham game. They're an English lower league team. The player, it was raining. It's been like pouring down in England. The ball went out for a throw in. And the guy was like, had the ball, was getting ready to throw it in, but it was really wet and slippery. So he's sort of looking around for a towel. This guy from the crowd takes his jumper off, throws it over to the guy so he can wipe his ball down, guts hanging out and everything. It was so good. Anyway, gave him the jumper back. I thought that was quite good. But the best thing.
I saw a highlight the other day, learning about this whole Twitter thing where the guy penalty kicked it, hit the top crossbar. So the goalie ran off celebrating. The ball jumped back into play, but it had topspin on it, so it rolled back in.
Yeah, that clip's been around for a very long time.
Very, very new to me.
It's a classic though, absolute classic.
It was quite humorous.
Yeah,
I was also just going to say, since we were talking about other sports quickly, that the NBA today had a game start every 15 minutes for like 15 15-minute segments, if that makes sense. That was a really cool way to, like, it was like the second or third week of NBA. It was a pretty cool way to launch the season a bit.
It's amazing to have so many games that just play on Monday night.
Yeah.
Or Monday.
15 Monday night games in 15-minute segments.
Yeah.
I can't find the secret menu.
You got to drag down and hold it.
I have.
You got to keep holding
From where?
it.
The menu
Oh,
bit?
the menu. Yeah, the menu. Yeah, hold it now. And it takes longer than you think.
Since I just remembered I'm hosting, what was your best thing,
The
Sam?
best thing that happened, Chelbo made
Yes.
the All-Australian team.
Woo!
Congratulations. And I know
Chel-
friend of the
Boom.
pod.
And look,
Let's go.
we're only getting so excited about Chelbo because the other three were Hatchard, Marinoff and Randall.
I think we
Not
launched Chelbo on this pod.
Well, I'd just like to point
She
out
did
that
take off.
I claimed her as my favourite in one of our very first episodes.
I'll admit I didn't know who she was. when you
Well
said-
before anybody else claimed her. So I'm just going to point that out again. But so All Australian. How good's that?
Good.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Is that huge?
Everyone's stealing my segment this week. Ben, what do you got?
So for bad, I've got topical for all you Strath listeners. We've got people piling up their garden waste and just going straight out with the burn off. We're not talking about prepared dry waste. We're talking about green waste that just smokes up the whole suburb.
Dogs.
Ridiculous.
Dog
The
act.
first day we got some warm weather, I thought, all right, we'll get the washing out on the line. That washing was not clean by the end of that day. It was
Yeah, I'd be filthy.
smoked out. like no one's business. And this is someone who's just moved into the house near us, and that's the way they've, welcomed themselves to the neighbourhood.
Did you write them a strongly worded letter?
I'm pretty anti-conflict, so I'm just seething inside at this stage.
Okay.
We'll see how we go.
So light your own fire is what you're saying, maybe.
Nah, see, they're up. The prevailing breeze is against us, so we won't really. We'd have to wait for some freak wind to go the other way to get them. Yeah,
maybe a giant fan.
Maybe.
Do you have a pet at home, Ben?
A pet?
Yeah.
We got the poultry zone.
Poultry. What I'm thinking,
we need to get Ben a sign for his chicken shed saying poultry zone.
Maybe he could just fill up a bag of chicken shit and then light it on fire in there.
Oh yes, brown paper bag. Yeah, Billy Madison. Is that Billy Madison?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. But not only is it a nuisance to the whole neighbourhood, this is a resource that could be used in a much better way. If you've got green waste material, get that thing composting. Don't be burning it off. It's nutrients that have grown in your garden that you're just throwing into the sky, as opposed to either getting it composted professionally or do it yourself. Don't be so lazy, people.
Ben's tips. Dan's Billy Corgan tweet, thinking he was very humorous there, creating a pun on a photo of Billy Corgan with a booger up his nose, saying, despite all my rage, I've still got a bat in a cave. Thinking it was very humorous. I'm only putting it in my bads and saying it out loud because Dan thought he was pretty good when he got it. I wanted to bring it up.
It just rolled off the tongue so well. Yeah. I was just like, that is perfect.
Yeah, I'm only putting it in the bads because it's funnier. But yeah, well done, Dan. That was good. Ginnivan dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween.
No. Sorry, but you're a young man that's on the internet. You would have seen the people saying, don't do that. There are still families of victims around, I mean, I know we're in Australia and I know it's like kind of relevant, and I know everyone's just like, oh, well, he just watched the Netflix show, but that's like it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
I think we've gone too far with glorifying murderers in some cases. Like that is a classic one, and I'm a big fan of Evan Peters, who's the actor, and I think he's done some really good stuff. But like, when do we draw the line? Like you said, Lauren, there's people who are still alive whose family were killed by Dahmer. Like, it's pretty horrific to just glorify it in that way. And obviously, Ginnivan is glorifying it.
It's Netflix's fault. They do it. They love that stuff, don't they? They love glorifying all that murder.
I think with Ginnivan though, he is poorly advised.
Poorly advised, yeah.
In lots of his choices.
Villa Rankin.
Yeah.
But the worst thing, now this I think Ben might agree with me, but I'll be interested to hear what you guys reckon. Men's cricket.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah. Like what is going on there? I remember growing up, like, even probably up until a few years ago, I loved cricket season.
Same.
I couldn't wait for it to start. It was always like, footy's finished, sweet. Let's get some one days and head into the test matches. This is going to be great. Now I couldn't give two shits about the T20, and it's not because we're not like in the final. I couldn't care less. I haven't watched any games of this T20 tournament. They played in Adelaide the other night. I didn't even know the Australian team. There was about 20,000 people there. What's going on there? Are people Australians sick of them? Like, do we not like the team?
It's become too cheap, I reckon. Like, my take on it, and this is just my opinion, but with T20, personally, I think it's cheapened the game. Like, it's great to watch guys go out and just aim to smash it, and that's great, but that's cheapened the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the team, since probably the Michael Clark era, have been not very likable for whatever reason. Like, they just seem boring, and, like, there's no characters in the team. And
I don't think we don't know them either. Like, I don't know. There just seems like a disconnect there now.
Well, for me, for a fair period going from now, like they've gone through a thing where, they're all about, we've got a sledge, we've got to get right up to the line, and that's how we get our competitive advantage. So that makes them not particularly likable from my perspective. Then they do, obviously have their sandpaper issues.
Yeah.
And it all, like, I personally prefer the New Zealand team. They seem like nice people, and they still, do all right for a country that small.
And New Zealand seems to still like their team.
Yeah, well, I like their team.
Yeah,
I don't like our team.
Yeah.
So,
I think I don't know. It's really strange, isn't it? And
I think Ben brings up a good point about very briefly, you said about the sandpaper thing.
Yeah,
I think that really definitely impacted people's respect for the Australian cricket team.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it kind of hasn't really gone well from there.
Because we haven't refreshed the team much from that point either. There's
No.
still a lot of them still floating around and back into positions of power
It
as well.
just indicated what sort of a bubble they were in, that the most important thing in the world was that they win, not how they went about playing the game in a reasonable manner. It was all about however we win, that's fair play. So I don't know, they just seem like entitled tossbags and not a team, that I like.
Yeah.
Other than Travis Head, even though he supports the wrong football team.
Anyway, I've switched to NBA for the summer. So.
Yeah, I've actually got a Paramount subscription so I can watch the A-League. I just couldn't care less about the cricket, to be honest.
And I quite like Alex Cleary too.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's some likeable characters there, but it's just that this, I don't know.
Well, nothing changes. Like Warner, they're talking about leadership roles again for Warner. So he's gotten through his stuff and he's been redeemed, and apparently we all like them again.
Yeah.
I'm
Smith,
watching competitive
Cummins.
darts.
Competitive darts.
Yeah.
Oh, that Aussie guy with the long hair. He's so good.
Oh, I was joking.
Oh, well, yeah.
I was going to say, this could almost be a ask a Crows question, pose a Crows question
What's
thing.
that? What's that sport where you throw the beanbags into the little hole?
A cornhole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on ESPN.
Yeah, get onto that.
What?
I'm Amber Ward, and here we crow.
All right, so remember, we are a football podcast, and we're going to talk about the AFLW Crows game from the weekend. Unfortunately, after a really fast start, we lost the plot after quarter time, and by half time we were behind, and lost the game by 21 points.
Keep
to
pretending you know what you're talking about, Dan.
Melbourne.
Yeah, how much did you watch, Dan?
I watched every last second of the KO Mini. Not even.
You didn't even watch that.
Shh. These are
Sorry.
trade secrets.
Yeah,
Sam.
sorry.
I'll
I'll edit that out.
One more goal for the game after quarter time. Lots of dump kicks, which we're used to. I found that out through the messenger chat where you guys talked about dump kicks.
You should
from
probably pass it over, I reckon.
Ebony Marinoff, etc.
Yeah, it's
Lauren.
going nowhere. Okay, look, it actually feels like an age. Like it's been ages since that game, even though it was only on Friday night. But it is now Tuesday night, and I've forgotten everything that
We've done
happened.
so much.
But the two things I noticed is that one, we just cannot seem to take our time. Ben and I talked about this last episode. We don't have cool heads in any situation, especially like when we were getting thumped by Melbourne. They just had us worked out. They were all over us. They were running out on the outside, getting space. We were just like all over the place. Shocking. Why are we kicking it down the line in crucial stages of the game when we need to score? Bombing it down into a pack. Why are we doing that? There was one scenario there where I saw someone bomb it into a pack, and Matty Newman was right there on the left-hand side. Could have taken it free ball, run up the wing.
Yep.
Didn't take that option for whatever reason. Why are we doing this? It is just like the men's team.
I think we said it a few weeks ago that I think teams have got really good at targeting our good players, and they know that if they can shut down those players or at least force them to create more errors than they already do, then they're going to go a long way to winning the game, especially if they get their outside game going.
Noffy and Hatchard had season low possession counts as well, so
And
that proves your point.
I just want to say that I think Ebony Marinoff is a champion pressure player and tackler, but her ball use is PU. PU.
Yeah.
That was like pretty much one of the worst games I've seen her play. There was even one moment where she did have the ball and she had time to look at her options and she just kicked it.
Yep.
What are you doing, Noffy? What are you doing?
That
really frustrated me.
Melbourne didn't seem to worry either. It's almost like they kind of knew that we were going to come out hard. They were sort of prepared to almost let us go a little bit there in that first quarter. They seemed to just sort of they didn't panic at all. And then in that second quarter, actually towards the end of the first quarter even, you saw the tide start to change. And then second quarter, they just looked like unbeatable. And I know we held them there for a bit after making a few changes, but yeah, I think the game was over pretty early.
Their belief and confidence outweighed ours significantly.
Yeah.
It was a pretty frustrating watch, I'll be real. You're probably lucky you didn't watch it, Dan.
Yeah, well, I was busy watching some kids' movie at home and could not turn it over. Ben?
Yeah, well, you've summed it up. It was an exciting first quarter. We were smashing them in contested ball in that first quarter. They were pressured whenever they had the ball. They still had more uncontested possession, but it was under once they got it, they were under pressure. And I think at quarter time I said, well, that's going to be tough to hold on, like continue for the next 3 quarters.
Bless you.
Thanks.
And yeah, for the rest of the game, then Melbourne were able to play the way they wanted, basically. They got their handball to a running player to get clearer entries into the forward line, and they ended up beating us in contested ball as well. So once they got back at least even keel with contested ball, they were able to use their superior game style and execution to dominate us, which was a shame. Stats-wise, uncontested possession again, smashed us 131-70.
Oh.
Yeah, that's big.
And we also lost contested possession 126-107. So that's tough to win a game when you lose both of those. They marked the ball 43 times to our 24. So, yeah. And our as you sort of said, our highest possession getter was 17 possessions for the game. So, yeah, we looked really good, had a lot of pressure in the first quarter, but they've got a lot of system, it looks like, Melbourne, where they were able to get ball to a clear player who then has options and can make our defence not look as impenetrable as they did last season. Like any defence, like our men's defence, can look pretty poor when the ball comes in fast because the forwards can get space, which they did. So
those big uncontested stat margins between the two teams, is that their pressure on us, or is that just
that's Melbourne's game style, is get the ball and then handball to someone who's free, and then run and kick it.
And is that a little bit of hunger from our side potentially that dropped off, being able to chase that down? Or
I think it's just that we're more of a go in hard, work really hard, do what we can, sort of a team, whereas there's a specific game style that Melbourne are sticking to, and that seems to be what's beating us.
I think it's probably a bit unkind, but I think we've probably relied on a very scrappy but more skillful than the opposition's scrappy game plan for the last few years.
And I think last season we had a better chance of nullifying a lot of that spread and run from Melbourne, so our defence could hold up against the ball coming in, whereas we couldn't stop it this time. So should Randall have played?
Yeah, I think she was fine, and she just was, she was a heavy battler during that game, and she got knocked around a lot.
Yeah.
That last little bit there where she was lining up for the goal and kind of fell backwards, that was slightly concerning. But that's,
shoelaces.
It's hard to say if she was just falling over her shoelaces or if, she was just a bit battered and worn. But, I think she put up one of the biggest fights of the entire team. So, she needed to play.
Yeah, very disappointing. It's hard to imagine that it's not, mainly between the ears that they're struggling at the moment because, in the same year, Melbourne's become that much better. They've beaten us twice this year now. Oh, this season, sorry. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I think the skill of Melbourne and Brisbane has lifted. I think they're finding a way to play their game style after consolidating it last season, and now they're executing it, and maybe our game style doesn't stack up against what they're doing now.
I think there's been a lot of talk about Doc Clark this week too after that loss, and whether we need to mix it up coaching wise. And I think you're very right, Ben. Like Melbourne and Brisbane are clear cut above us at the moment, and why is that? I mean, we talked last week about the team being quite fresh, and there's a lot of fresh new players in the team, so that obviously takes a bit of time to work out the game plan and have that trust in each other. But for it to go from premiership to, at least, I mean, I'm glad they made finals, but this isn't looking good, is it?
Not in the same year. Yeah.
No.
It does show, seem to be like that kind of thing where we're not flexing on our game plan and the other teams have just worked us out.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We're still skillful enough to beat the lower teams. Should we get in some votes?
Yes.
Sure. Let's see how close mine are, given that I didn't watch it. So, Sam.
All right. Mine, I went a bit wide this week because they were hard to do votes this week. I gave 3 to Gould. I liked goals, I think hit-outs wise, she was good. She just appeared a lot around the ground, and I think she's had a really good year. So I think it was more out of body of work. Let's call it that this week. Maybe not exactly 3 votes for this game, but
Geez, the commentators were keen for that to be a free kick, one of her goals.
yeah, when they
Out of the ruck.
push in the back in the ruck,
And
yeah.
surprisingly, they didn't mention the push in the back when Melbourne ruckman kicked a goal out of the ruck.
Yeah.
Silent on that, so that was interesting.
I gave 2 to Chelbo. Liked her work at the back despite being under siege for most of the game. And I gave 1 vote to EJ. I like how angry she is, and she always tries to knock someone out every week.
Love it. Lauren?
For pretty similar to Sam, to be honest.
Did you just copy because you didn't do them?
Nah. I've been thinking about it for the last 20 minutes.
The integrity of these votes is seriously dipping.
Look, I didn't have time to think about
Says
it
the
today.
guy who did votes and didn't watch the game.
The listeners are raging.
But I'm giving 3 to Caitlin Gould. I think she earned it. She had 16 hit-outs, 2 goals. She was quite good. I'm actually giving 2 to Stevie Lee Thompson. She was our hardest midfield worker in my eyes. She only had 2 less disposals than Marinoff, but she had 4 clearances. And I don't know, she just seemed to go a bit harder at the ball and not as crazy with her kicking, just like actually trying to take her time, that kind of vibe. I'm also going to give 1 vote to Eloise Jones. She had 7 tackles, and I just thought her attitude towards the game was what we needed. And if it wasn't for her aggression and fury, we probably would have gotten absolutely thumped.
Thanks,
Lauren. Ben, I'm very keen to hear who you've gone for.
So I've gone with Bedell for the 3 votes. I thought she stood up against the pressure as best she could, and probably her stats don't show as much because they threw her forward in the last quarter when it was kind of dead and buried. So she probably didn't get quite as many as she might have. 2 for Gould, particularly that first quarter would have been 3 plus. Like after that first quarter, quietened off a bit as the game went on, and then I gave 1 to Tia Charlton. I thought she looked like she was working relatively well in tight spaces, got 5 clearances, and kind of looked like she was trying to have some composure as opposed to just bombing it long.
Yes.
Well, I'm just going to prove, this is probably Sam's point from last week, that you don't need to watch the game to understand what happened. But I gave 3 votes without knowing your votes to Caitlin Gould with 9 disposals, 2 goals and 16 hitouts. I gave 2 votes to Chelbo, 14 disposals. No. And I gave 1 vote to Stevie Lee Thompson, 15 disposals, 4 tackles. Let's get into the Soldiers On.
Soldier on, soldier on, soldier on.
Oh, yes. Samuel.
Oh, yes. Oh, shit. I wrote Sarah Allen Soldiers On dash and then didn't write one down. Come back to me.
Okay, Lauren.
My Soldiers On goes to Chelbo this week. She had to work really hard, and she was our best defender.
Very nice. Very nice. Ben?
I gave mine to the captain, Chelsea Randall. Still seemed a bit injured, smacked in the face, tripped over her shoelaces, and just gives her all every game.
She gets smacked in the face nearly every game. Terrible.
I remember who I was going to put now.
Yes.
It was Stevie Lee. Because she got injured, well, slightly injured mid-game. They were worried about her, but she came back on and did her best.
Mine got smacked in the face, Sam.
Yeah,
and
yours got, 7 disposals and probably shouldn't have played, Ben.
Tripped on her shoelaces, Sam.
I went for the namesake, Sarah Allen. 5 tackles and 10 disposals. Named
Your
the best
votes
player.
this week are just, they were worse than mine last week. At least I watched 10 minutes.
Come on now. All right.
Should we have an update of the votes?
Yes. Why not? I need some padding.
Look, the namesake of the Here We Crow Best and Fairest for the women's, the Ebony Marinoff Trophy, is currently leading by a significant margin. So it looks like it might be back-to-back Best and Fairest for Ebony Marinoff. That's only if Chelsea Randall doesn't pull some sort of miracle this week and somehow gets 20 votes.
We've put in that round that you'd missed in last week.
It's all up to date, Ben.
Yeah, right.
I'm on to
I
it.
would have thought she's a bit closer. I would have thought it should be neck
You
and
would
neck
think
if not
that.
leading.
But what has happened is the Sarah Allen Soldiers On is a tight race. And there are 2 in the lead. And those 2 are tied at 6 votes each. Madison Newman, the Mad Dog, tied with Chelsea Randall.
Wow.
And coming in tied third, a 3-way tie, Stevie Lee Thompson, Caitlin Gould and Abby Ballard.
Wow.
Anything could happen, folks. Anything could happen.
I think that vindicates that you could give someone votes and steal the Soldiers On, because I think Chelsea could have gotten both in a few games.
Well, that's your opinion, Ben. But
and I think it's a very valid opinion.
So let's talk about this week's game. We play Collingwood at Unley at about 2:10 on Saturday. Who's going to the game?
not me.
Sam?
I'm potentially, but I do have a lot of work to do on Saturday, so it's going to come down to that.
Everyone's a bit non-committal. Ben?
Hoping to, but we'll just see. It depends how I'm going with some chicken-related projects.
I would...
Dan, it's going to be 29 degrees and raining on Saturday.
It's like the summer season again. I actually really want to go to the game, but I am being dragged along to Handpicked Festival, which is headlined by one of my least favourite bands of all time, Hilltop Hoods. I want to kill myself.
It's very drastic.
Yeah,
well, it's true.
Just step off that ledge, Dan. I think it'll be okay.
So the kids are all going to be there, and friends' kids and that, and I have volunteered to look after the kids. There's going to be 6 of them. I'm going to look after the kids while Hilltop Hoods are on, and I'm going to wear earplugs.
Is that sounds like a winery thing? Is that a winery thing?
At Langhorne Creek, yeah.
Oh, you're down near him.
Yeah.
You could call in.
So this is when you're saying you've never been to Strathalbyn and you'll literally have to go through Strathalbyn to get there.
Yeah.
Highlight of your year, I'm sure.
I am very not excited.
Before we move on, I did some research during the week. I know, shock horror. Between the women's team that played Melbourne in the grand final and the women's team that played Melbourne on the weekend, there was only 5 differences. Do you know who they were?
Aaron Phillips.
Ballard.
Yep. Well, that was
Justine
one in, one
Mules.
out. Yep.
What's her name?
Hewitt's not there.
And the one that went to Freo.
Considine and Gore.
Where's Ailish Considine been?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think she's injured.
Is she?
Yeah, she is, but for how long?
Prowse, Newman, Mueller, Kelly, and Ballard are the ones
I
that
don't
come
think
in.
they're big differences.
No, they're really not. Dan took his headphones off.
Did we underestimate Justine Mules?
Have we underestimated Justine Mules?
Because she's the only one that I can see being... I know everyone loves Erin, and we loved Erin at the time, but she was in her twilight. Like, she sucked for Port this year.
I think it's more game style than personnel.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I was
believe
that's
too.
the conclusion I came to as well. And other teams catching us, playing us more effectively, playing against our good players more effectively.
Honestly, I think, like we just talked about earlier, like they have a game plan that they're sticking to and achieving, and we don't really seem to have much of one of those.
No, that's right.
Let's talk about that game. What do we think will happen this week, Ben?
Yeah, so we got Collingwood who beat the Bulldogs by 5 points on the weekend. They finished 6th. Last time we played them, we beat them by 5 points, 21-16, so a real shootout. We did kick 2 goals 9 in that game to their 2 goals 4. So
I remember that game. That was terrible. It was really wet, wasn't it?
It was a wet game, and we had 36 inside 50s to their 15.
That's right.
So,
it was really frustrating first half. I remember that.
So we didn't make the most of our opportunities and made it close. Having said that, it was wet, and it's going to probably be wet again, so that'll be interesting. Stats-wise, in general for Collingwood, they're a bit of middle of the road in terms of their kicks and handballs, sort of 8th and 10th or so. They're 4th for marks, so they seem to be a bit of a kick mark kind of a team, and they're still only 15th for tackles, which I think bodes well for us, although if it's wet, it probably evens it up because it gets grubby and they'll be close to us and tackle us. Like they nearly evened us for tackles last time we played them. So I think the wet weather's not a good thing. I think it'll even up the contest quite a bit. I think if it was dry, we should be able to handle their game style. But in the wet, it makes it a bit more of a toss-up.
Interesting. Anyone else got comments on it?
No specific comments. I actually watched a bit of the Collingwood Bulldogs game on the weekend, and it was quite fun to watch. It was a good ending. They Bulldogs got close, got it down their forward line. They obviously weren't more than a goal behind, so it was quite entertaining to watch. Look, I don't see us losing. I think we can lose. I don't think we will.
Yeah, I think I back us to bounce back. What I think the X factor is there's a couple of key Collingwood players that might be out injured. I haven't seen an update since earlier in the week, but Ruby Slasher and Sarah Rowe were both injured in the game against Western Bulldogs. So if either of them miss or both miss, especially Ruby Slasher, that would be a massive out for Collingwood. So we'll see. If she's out, I'll definitely back the Crows in. But yeah. Lauren, what do you think? Who's going to win and by how much?
I think the Crows will bring it back this week. Home crowd. We do play okay in the wet because we do play that scrappy game. And I think Ponta's a player we didn't talk about. Ponta just has lifted this season and has really carried the team in a lot of ways. So I feel like if Pont's on, then we'll be on. No, I think we will take this one out, but I can't really see us getting too much further into the final series, unfortunately, for this season.
It's got that pretty set your watch to it feel like we'll have enough in the tank to beat one of the lower teams this week, and then we'll get beaten by Melbourne or Brisbane next week or whoever.
It won't be Melbourne.
Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's assume Brisbane. Sam?
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll win this week. It'll be an ugly, ugly game, but we'll get over the line and then probably lose the week after.
Yep. That confidence, Ben?
Yeah, I think probably a low scoring grind, which could go either way, but I'm going to give us a 10-point win.
Yeah, and I'm going to back us by 18 points. Yeah.
I think a lot of it is us taking our chances. Like we can't have another 2 goals 9. We need to make the most of it.
That's it. Who was that?
Slipknot.
No.
Did we have
never
some
heard that song.
overwhelming positive feedback after the Spider segment from last week?
Oh, it was
Did we?
crazy, honestly.
Yeah. I think Kate's the only one who likes your Spider stories.
I think she was preempting that she would like it too. We don't know
Yeah.
if she liked it after.
Well, you said you've got a top 3, so
Well, my
let's hear your
delivery of the
second-
Spider story was pretty crap last week, so
Can
gonna
bring
try
it
it.
this week.
I'll try, but there's no
Is it
guarantees.
is it better or worse? Than
I
last
feel
week?
like I've got to be at PSD when I try to retell these stories. So there's a bit of,
PTSD,
yeah.
PSD
pre-season times.
preseason draft.
There's a bit of stuttering, forgetting that PTSD is a thing, not PSD.
Yeah.
Just things like that. But this particular story, I'm gonna go with this one. So there's a few, but this is another one. So in our current house in Campbelltown, we come home one night, hot summer's night. We go into one of the girls goes into. I've got 2 daughters. For those who don't know, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old now, but they were a bit younger back then. Probably, I think it was 4 years ago. So one of them went into the bathroom, and I just heard this blood curdling scream, and I'm like, oh my god, what's happened? And then they screamed, there's a spider in there. So I'm like, I've walked to the bathroom and I've sort of edged my head in slowly to just kind of see where it is, but not fully go into the bathroom.
And to say, can you handle this, girls?
Yeah, no, they were they were gone. They were long gone by then. So I just had to get a sneak peek of what was in there. And no shit, this was like a huntsman, like a dinner plate size huntsman. Biggest one I've seen, and no one was going in that room. So anyway,
Do you think maybe your perceptions are a little bit out of whack?
no, but like all grown men do, I called my lovely wife and I said, Jasmine, knowing that you can take, she normally grabs spiders and puts them in a cup and a piece of paper and takes them outside. So I'm like, can you sort this one out, because I'm not going near that. And so she goes in, she has a look and she. 10 seconds later, she comes out, nah, that's too big for me even.
It's too big for a cup.
I'm not going to carry that out. So anyway, then we try to spray the
Not again.
spray the fucker
You got
because
backups in this
we
spray?
needed to
Spider
go into the bathroom. So we're like spraying it from long distance, and then it crawls into the light
Oh, no.
fitting
No, that's the worst.
and disappears.
Yeah, no, that's
In the light
not
fitting.
good. Yeah,
So
no.
that's where he's
So
hiding
what
the whole
we
time.
did
Is
we
left home.
left home. And we went and stayed at Jasmine's parents' house.
I would have been tempted to do
because the kids were not going to go into that room again, and
Yeah,
they had
absolutely.
to like wash their hands and stuff, have
Yeah.
a bath. We went and had a bath at her parents' house, who were away, luckily.
Yeah.
And
so they couldn't judge you for coming over
no,
to
and we
hide
returned.
from a spider.
That spider never ever came back. So
It's
I
still
don't
there.
It went off to die.
It must have died in the fixture. But I've changed light globes there before, like shitting myself, thinking like this thing's gonna a relic
Come
of
out
this
and jump on your face.
spider's gonna jump out.
Yeah, well, this time it would be personal.
Yeah. Well, it's been sprayed and it's gone up there and
Yeah.
died, and then it's just like plopped on my head like Sam had that one the other week.
Oh, yuck.
I think it's
Um,
clear to say there's two factions on the spider front in this podcast.
Yeah, there is.
There's the Sam Dan and the Lauren Ben seem to be a little bit more comfortable about it.
Yeah, well, next time. one of you
Lauren's
can-
just sitting there shaking
Sam,
her head.
Lauren
It's
just
like,
wants
I
to.
can't believe this is real.
Lauren just
pet.
wants to show how tough she is again.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned for part 3 next week.
I think that was better than last week. I like that one.
The delivery was a bit better.
Yeah, it was. It was better.
It must be this like 12% beer or whatever. Anyway, continue on.
Well done, Dan. General chat. Is that
Pose
what
a
we're
crow's
on to?
question.
Oh, pose a crow. Have you got
We
one?
got one.
Nah, I had
Oh,
last week.
just-
don't want to
We
be
didn't even
one?
talk about this before
Nah,
the podcast.
that's I'm surprising you with a pose a crow's question.
Oh,
Oh, I
I'll be
actually
as
do
prepared as
have
usual.
I do have some crows related content.
Mm.
I know you don't like the gym photos, Sam,
they're
which is
terrible.
pretty much what's been happening the last couple of weeks. But the
Yeah,
crows
lazy social media people putting them
well,
up.
the crows did put some good social media content up today because they had the inclusive football whatever it is, camp down at the Crows, and Tom Duday and Sam Jacobs and Neve Kelly were all like hanging out with the inclusive football carnival people. They did put up a photo of Daddy Nix that caught my
I've seen this
eye.
one.
And the reason why it caught my eye is because his nipple took it out.
Oh.
There is a lot of nipple in that photo.
Today? It was hot.
Yeah. Well, it's the photos of them in the office, and
Must have been full aircon on.
Matthew Nips. That's his new
Don't
name.
mind that. Yeah.
that's a good
I
one.
did post a comment on the Instagram page
Wait.
saying,
So are you saying Matthew Nips has been in the gym as well?
I looked at Ben quite confused there because when you said it was hot and his nipple, I had this picture of him with his shirt off.
Ah,
So you're
I
saying,
wish.
well, when it's cold, don't they stick out more?
Yeah, that
yeah.
was
So
sticking
is that
out.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Right.
sticking out. I'll show you.
Just
the
creating a
photo
picture
after.
for everyone. listening.
Yeah. Very visual.
Yeah, I did post a comment on the Instagram and said, "We love Daddy Matthew Nips. I mean Nix.
Well, Lauren, you've just named the show for this week.
Yes. Matthew Nips.
Daddy Nips.
Daddy Nips.
Daddy Nips. Yeah,
That's terrible.
done.
All right. Oh, yeah, we
You're
can't move on
creating
to
the
things.
slides.
Yeah. More crows
Better
chat.
get that nipple out.
Bit of Max Michelani chat this week.
Yeah,
Saying-
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, there's been a few articles this week being put out saying that he is potential to actually play for the Crows next year. So I don't know if this is just a bit of media beat up or other teams beating him up to try and make us pay more for him, or it's a genuine thing. But
I've
kind of
heard
exciting to see.
he's built fairly slightly and it's unlikely he'll play next year.
Well, the articles that came out this week were that he's like a genuine chance to play next year, maybe because of our backline more than anything.
Got to talk up. Can't let him draft slide.
No, that's right.
Can't get a free kick there.
Yeah, exactly. What else has happened?
I got some unsolicited advice or some knowledge from a friend of mine, Russ, who listens to the pod, casual listener. He said that apparently Seedsman was back on the active list and was ready to go. But then I said, where was your source? And he's like, oh, no, it looks like it's fallen off the radar. I'm like, thanks for getting my hopes up, mate.
Right.
I don't know if anyone else has heard anything about that, but I couldn't find anything on social media.
No.
So I'm calling bullshit. But hopefully, he somehow comes back next year.
I would have thought that if they were worried that he wasn't going to play, that they might have pushed him to some sort of retirement or tried to, push him towards
Well,
that.
clearly
Like,
there's a little bit of hope, but
Yeah.
it could be similar to the Sam Shaw situation as well, where he was
Yeah.
like on the list inactive and
yeah, that's
eventually,
true. Yeah.
got
Dunno.
retired.
Got retired.
Got retired. Well, that's kind of what happened.
Have we spoken about the fact that we don't even have pick 20, whatever it was, 23 anymore?
We haven't mentioned it really, no.
No. So we're like drafts in 3 weeks, and I wouldn't be getting excited, Crows fans, because we're not doing anything.
Everyone's excited.
What are you talking about? We've got a ready-to-go player in Max McAloon.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. In 5 years.
Do you think we'll try and get back in?
I kind of hope not. It sounds like the draft pool's a lot stronger next year.
Yeah.
And it's just short-term thinking because there's players in front of us that we're excited about, but it's partly because we don't really know that much about who's coming next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the idea that we are stocked up for next year and can really have a good crack at whoever we want next year, player or draft pick.
I kind of hope... Oh, sorry, Ben.
No, I was just going to say, it gives us flexibility next year, whether it's, we'll get a better player in the draft or because we've got North and hopefully they're dodgy again next year, we've got a really good couple of draft picks to give away if we want to get someone good in.
Trade for Horn Francis when he's angry at the coaching instability at Port.
Yeah. Given that... we're obviously backing in almost the same list bar Rankin. You'd hope that when all the fans come gunning for Nix's head next year, if we don't perform, that the club actually backs him in because we haven't changed the list much and we're aiming for the next year. You would hope, but
absolutely,
yeah, because I can't see. I mean, unless we can get ball to that forward line, like the forward line's elite, but if we can't get the ball there, we're not going to improve a whole lot from this year, you wouldn't think.
Well, I think after a quiet year, our best and fairest next year, obviously Matt Crouch is going to get the ball into that forward line regularly.
Was
so
that
we
a
should
crack
be
at
fine.
Dan there, Ben?
No, it's just a solid prediction.
Yeah, it's 2023. He'll get it then if he plays a game.
Yeah. No, he's not getting it, is he? But I wouldn't be surprised if he played some games next year.
I think we'll get in the team a fair bit, and I think it will cause a little bit of a meltdown.
Yeah,
he's going to be
from us.
Yeah,
or from me.
There's heaps of people that like Matt Crouch.
Remember we were sitting in the Western stand and there was that person in front of us that was just absolutely like giving him the absolute bath every time he came off the field.
I think the
was really weird.
He sat on the bench and he was just yelling out, and stay there.
Yeah. It was an old bloke and he was just real angry with him. And it was at that West Coast game and there was no one there, so it was very obvious.
He's going to be pure depth, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we showed that we were prepared not to play him when he was absolutely dominating Sandford. So I think we have the right mindset with him. If he's needed, he will play. But if he's not, then he won't. So, yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's okay.
Just got to hear what the talk is through pre-season, how much of the track he is burning up.
Yeah, absolutely burning up the track.
Yeah.
We're going to hear that a lot, aren't we?
Yeah.
Social media.
We should, if we're actually recording at that point of the year, which we may be, we just need to call out the first time someone says that in the press conference.
Absolutely. It'll be Theo.
Yeah. Got to get the drop back on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe he can come on the Christmas special.
Speaking of guests, you saw Fitzy on the weekend?
I did see Fitzy at the Idols gig, yeah.
Missed him.
He wanted to have a beer with you guys.
Yeah.
He said, come find me, I'll be over on this side.
I went over there.
I looked over, he wasn't there.
No.
I didn't see him at all.
Well, he's only small. He'd be hard to find.
He was wearing a Dead Kennedys shirt and was very tall. That's how I noticed him. But, yeah, good bloke.
I saw a friend of the pod, Footy, there.
I saw Footy as well, yep. I said hello. I said, are you going to come on the pod next season? He was keen as.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll have a week off. You guys can have Footy on. It was good vibes. Saw a lot of people.
I saw a friend of the pod, Lowell, the Richmond Nuffy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All of our friends of the pod were there.
Absolutely. It's weird, isn't it? Or maybe all our friends are
cool
music people.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, what's going on here?
She really ordered.
Did Lizzie? Oh. Did Lauren order? Yes.
Oh, Lauren, star of the show.
This is so good.
Lauren,
this is live. We didn't know this was happening.
We think Lauren has ordered a Zinger Twister.
Yeah.
And if it comes through the microphone, Sam does have a Titanic doorbell.
Yeah, I don't. That's terrible. I
hope
hate
it did.
And Dan pushes it every time he comes around here.
Classic
It's
Dan.
very irritating. Oh no, look at the bag that Lauren's got.
What has she got?
A bag of gas.
Wonder if she's just ordered it for herself.
I don't know. Yeah, that'll be interesting. We know nothing. We genuinely know nothing about this.
I've had dinner. It's not important, is it?
No.
He's telling me off.
Is she? Yeah, she probably. Yeah.
Lizzie says, "Don't support the dirty bird."
She thought that you ordered it.
No, I
and
didn't.
I had to say no. It was
No,
me.
it was you. So what do we got, Lauren?
Lauren has ordered it and she's going to eat it in front of us.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought I'd spoil you guys live on the pod.
Oh, you did not. This could be the greatest day of my life. Oh my
We've
god!
got them all round.
Wait,
Are
she's
these-
bought us all one.
Are these all round?
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. This is prime podcasting
You have
material.
just elevated yourself.
Sing a stack of Twister.
Ben used to be the star, but now it's you.
And just look forward to some awkward eating noises now for the rest of the pod.
ASMR. Eat. Oh god, Sam's right into it. Don't waste any time. I was hosting.
I wanted to give some feedback.
It's just straight off the bat.
Thanks, Lauren.
Oh,
This
You're
is
so welcome.
This is next level.
It took a really long time to get here.
you worried? We might be
I was
finished
like,
the
is this
podcast.
guy like nicking off with our singer stacker Twisters?
Oh, that's got. You put the spicy sauce on this, didn't you? No. That's weird. That's a different sauce on it.
Listen to the chewing.
It's hotter.
We're still waiting for our KFC sponsorship.
Anyway, we're going to do social media after this. We might pause for a few minutes. We all have burning mouths now.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, hello. We're in food comas.
All right.
Yeah.
Singer stacker Twister
Yeah.
review. How's it measure up to the burger?
Not as much chicken as I thought, but genuinely good flavour.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the best. That's the best wrap
That's the best
I've had from
yeah,
there from a long time.
best twister.
Yeah, that was great.
I actually rate it over the burger because it's not as like bready.
The burger is
that's
a
true.
beast.
Yeah,
That's true.
The burger actually makes me want to die after I've eaten it.
But it's good, right?
It's
Yeah, it
good,
is
but like when you're like, oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, that kind of vibe.
So you said you couldn't even do the box. I got the box and a maxi popcorn chicken for last Friday night.
You're an animal.
I was.
That's
I
nuts.
was.
But
full.
Sam's about 7 foot tall, so
and a pig,
Yeah.
obviously. But no, it was pretty tasty. Ben, you rate that one? That'd be more your style, less more heat,
Yeah, no,
less
I enjoyed
sweetness.
that. That was a spot that needed to be hit, so that was good. Yeah, no, that was good.
Great.
Yeah, nice.
Dan?
yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Lauren. I think
I just realised we do like beer, we do music, and now we're doing KFC
it
reviews.
was less bread, which I liked, and like overall, I
Oh,
don't feel
God.
like death after it.
I've just realised we put a bit more thought into this than some of our player votes.
yeah,
At least Dan ate the wrap.
yeah, that's right.
I just had Rap Mini, and that was enough.
Do you reckon anyone's still tuning in, or is it all the people with the default download?
Yeah, I think it's that and Kate, and I'm going to go Quirky. He's still listening.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Quirky.
Thanks,
Quirky,
Maddie
what
C,
was,
he's still listening.
Quirky's had a bit of a zinger on Twitter earlier. I saw.
Oh, hang on.
What was it?
Social media, mate.
Oh yeah,
That's
let's
why I-
hit the sound.
Out of bounds on the full.
What a segue that was.
That was beautiful.
Sam.
Actually, before I forget, I just want to bring up Maddie C, who did update us on him going for the engagement panel.
Yes.
He failed, unfortunately.
Ah.
Sorry, Maddie.
So we're no closer to knowing anything.
No.
about
We could have
the
had we
engagement
could have
panel.
had an insider, Maddie,
Yeah.
friend from the pod, insider.
Yes. He also just noted that we do not share the contact details of member representatives for privacy reasons, but members are always welcome to provide feedback, any ideas. To provide any ideas/feedback, to the club via our membership department, either by phone or email. So, I think he's sort of
call him right
intimating,
now.
that we,
The-
that if you do have some things to say, you probably weren't invited to the engagement panel, and you may want to hit them up
The
via email.
engagement panel / the yes
Did you
men.
say the gay engagement panel?
I didn't mean to. If I did, sorry.
It's the yes men and women. As
Look,
Meg,
you
as
can
a friend of
contact
pod,
the
Meg
member
would say.
services to give you feedback, but you'll be ignored.
Yes, most likely.
Basically, what they're saying.
It's like the same as when they say tick this box if you want to be called about the engagement survey, and they never call you.
No, they
We
never
shouldn't
do.
be so down on it. Things might be changing. We don't know.
Will they?
Well,
I
we
hope
don't
so.
know.
Back to
We're
you,
not
Sam.
giving feedback.
We put the call out early.
Yeah.
It didn't help.
No, I thought we got
Sorry.
we got a few.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Got a few hooks.
What did Quirky say? Remember that?
Yeah, remember that from 30 seconds ago. The next footballer I'm looking forward to seeing dominate Adelaide Oval is Ross Knight, with the rest of the Cosmic Psychos
Yes.
supporting Guns N' Roses.
I will be there. Quirky. See you there.
That's hilarious. And I actually think that I can't believe that Cosmic Psycho said yes to supporting Guns N' Roses.
It's Cosmic Psychos, The Chats, and Guns N' Roses.
What a lineup.
I would go purely for the first two bands, to be honest.
I've taken the day off the next day because I'm getting lit at that show.
When is
Like,
that?
you can't go to that show and not be drunk.
No,
The
absolutely
30th
not.
of November, Sam.
Yeah, right.
And also, the day after is Deftones.
Maybe if they flog some half-price tickets, we can go. Is it sold out? It's not sold out, is it?
Nah, surely not.
It's not a Port Adelaide event.
Getting out of the tarps for Guns N' Roses.
They might be.
Axel Tarp.
Yeah. No puns. It's a pun-free zone. Nick Ibis said, I don't like the August start for AFLW. Finals window, venues, etc. is an absolute dog's breakfast. Yeah,
It is looking that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to say again, I was all for the move to the cooler time of the year. I think that they've got it wrong. I'm not suggesting that it needs to go back to where it was before, but like Ben and I spoke about it today, potentially moving it forward so that it finishes maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Might be a more ideal time. It feels just messy now.
Or do they still do it at the start of the year but push it back and have the finals in the first few rounds of the men's?
Yeah. I have to say, like, personally, and this, I've been banging on about it the whole time, haven't I? So saying that I think for an engagement perspective, I prefer it at the start of the year.
But are we just fatigued because we've already had a season at the start
think
of
so.
the year?
Let's see how we feel
It
next
could be
year.
totally
Yeah.
different next year.
100%.
We'll be amped. There will be so many months without football
Yeah.
that we'll be amped to see all of it, and it's going to all happen in one hit.
Yeah.
Let's readdress this
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon maybe if finals for the women's could start just after the finals finish for the men's, like have the female
The flow on.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
playing at the same time as the men's, but at least when it's getting to the big time for the AFLW, people are still thinking it feels a bit like football season, whereas now you've got your T20 that everyone's engaged in completely.
Especially with my next comment.
But you are getting to ovals that they've got their drop-in pitch now and you can't use it. So it feels like, Brisbane's could be unlucky this year. Depends on where they decide for a grand final if Brisbane makes the grand final.
Cricket is fantastic, but the BBL is too long and gets boring. But the WBBL strikers are great to watch. That's a good call, actually. I actually quite like watching the WBBL. It's a lot more entertaining than you'd think it is. It doesn't get
no
as
comment on any of this.
Okay. It's actually it's quite fun to watch some of that cricket, and they put the boundaries right in, and that's not a knock. It's more just for entertainment factor. It's quite fun to watch. He also said concerned about how the Crows will go in finals, should win this week. I think he's pretty much summed up everything we've said in this podcast. Sounds like he might be an agreeable listener.
Is there any more social media?
We have 1990 Crow. Jack's back.
Oh,
Board of
welcome
T20.
back, Jack.
Bring back more one-day international and Shield cricket. Completely agree. Because the T20 is boring as hell, especially with the international stuff. Although if Pakistan play India in the final, that'll be quite entertaining to watch, I reckon. They'll get 100K to the MCG. That'll be fun. That's about it.
I have a bit of a side question, which I just thought of. So we'll have to do some list changes with the AFLW team at the end of this year. Putting you all on the spot, who do we feel is in a bit of trouble to maybe get delisted?
Mariana Rajcic.
Yeah, I'd agree.
She's looked less than solid this year. I don't know whether we've got players coming through that are capable of taking her place, and perhaps the fact that she's still playing means we don't. But
I think
her
we
position have to be
do.
under threat.
I think Kira Mueller has shown a lot of promise.
Yep.
Definitely.
I don't know. I feel I'm slightly worried for Amber Ward. She doesn't seem to have really cracked the team. She's been picked a couple of times but dropped immediately after. That's a little bit concerning.
I think Lisa Whiteley, probably Jasmine Simmons.
Oh, Simmons, yeah, she has to go.
I think this might come across as a bit mean, but I think as the comp professionalizes itself and a lot more players that are coming through that have played women's footy for years and years start coming through, that a lot of those players that are probably good triers are going to get kicked out. They just don't have that spot anymore for the trier. They need that skill. They need a skill. They need a weapon. And I think we've got a few of them in our team that are good triers. but
Definitely.
yeah, that aren't going to last.
I hate to say it, and this is you all know that this is a tough one for me, but I think Najwa Allen is another one. Like, is a trier, but
I feel like she's come back into form a little bit the last couple of weeks, but we just haven't really played to a point where you can really see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She very rarely goes above, 5 or 6 disposals. So that's my problem.
Another one would be that can't seem to get into the team is Jasmine Hewitt, our backup ruck. Whether she gets in.
I don't think she's even playing at the moment because she left the Crows.
Yeah, her and Dana Cox. Yeah.
Well, that would affect her availability for selection if that's the case.
They're sort of inactive. But I also wonder about, obviously, Eilish Considine. She has
injured though, was it? Did you say?
I heard she was injured earlier in the year, but haven't heard
She's
much
always
else.
in the trackies.
Yeah.
She's always in the tracksuit. So that makes me just think she's got a long-term injury that she's not really
They're really
gonna
bad
come
at
back from
covering these,
this
aren't
season.
they? They don't cover much on these injuries.
No.
It's a bit shit. Anyway.
Bit shit. Anyway.
There was a bit of a comment from Bisk about the commentary too, about Tia Charlton. If Tia Charlton did this and played for Melbourne, she would have got a bit more plaudits, a bit of commentary chat, which we enjoy.
Yeah.
I think the thing about the Crows is, like, there are a lot of underrated players in the team that don't get the attention span of, like, the, kind of top teams players do. And Tia Charlton is definitely one of those. Like, she is a gun, but she really doesn't seem to get the
plaudits.
Yeah, that's the word, Dan. That is the word.
Well done, Dan. We don't have any more. We don't have any more social media. We're done. Are we done there?
Yeah, I think we're done. And I think just to wrap up everything that's happened tonight, there's been multiple beers. So let's just talk about the Uraidla.
Hang on a second. I got some more. I got some hot off the press.
Oh my God.
Bozza tweeted a photo of a few players today. Did anyone see that?
I did.
And Schallenberg looking very trim.
I don't know if he was being sarcastic or not.
I think he is. He looks skinny. He's got he's got chicken legs.
We've also got breaking news from Channel 7.
Uh-oh. Do we? Theo? Is it Theo?
The Adelaide Football Club bosses are meeting with the West Torrens Council for a crucial vote on the club's redevelopment plans for Theban and Oval. Less than 1% who voted were opposed.
Yeah.
395 people.
Right. Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
So less than 3.
Who voted?
Who voted?
Is this the response to the survey or?
Yeah.
I heard it was like a 62% against that returned their thing. But it was less than 1%.
The graphic says
I think
less
it was
than 1%.
Less than 1% of overall.
62,000 residents, 1%. 395 were opposed to the development. So they were the whole 395 people in that meeting.
But I think it was still 62% of people who responded to the survey were against it.
What are you talking about, Ben?
Stats.
Ben, that's yesterday's news.
It's right here. Look at the graph. Look at the pie graph.
I think
quality Channel 7 pie
I think
graph.
we all know that my eyes are not that good.
You can see that tiny slice of pie, can't you?
So, yeah.
If you're looking for clarity,
Lizzie?
On this subject, it's not going to be on this podcast.
Lizzie's popped in. Lizzie, I just want you to know I ordered the KFC. Wasn't Sam.
No, that's okay. I just heard the doorbell.
Saw a KFC bag.
Saw a KFC bag.
It was topical. Topical.
Yeah, it worked. It worked very well, actually.
I feel like the podcast is just his excuse to get KFC, to be honest.
You don't need to call us out like that, Lizzie.
Look, Sam did bring it up a few weeks ago, and every week since we've had KFC.
Yeah.
What?
No, not
Not
on the
in
pod.
here.
No.
After
Just
the show.
in general. He has put his bad influence onto all of us.
Yeah. Weeks and weeks of
Got us onto
pressure
the
and
Zinger
suddenly
stackers.
someone got him some.
I'm Zinger stacking it on now, Lizzie.
I'm doing an 8-week challenge, 8 weeks of Zinger Stackers.
You're like that guy that ate the 40 roast chickens every day.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on Twitter. That was funny.
Oh, man.
Is he dead?
No, he's good.
No, he's
Oh,
just
that's healthy diet.
he's just oily.
Trade his handbag. Loaf of
Anyway,
bread.
the Uraidla telekinesis. What do we think of that? Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was tasty. I really liked it. You could taste a bit of the alcohol, but it was you wouldn't know it was 11%.
You could taste a bit of I mean, that's all I could taste, but whatever.
I think it's safe to say it wasn't sessionable though. So.
Oh no! I'm not saying it was sessionable, but
It's taken me the whole, hour and a half we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not even finished it yet.
No, you're not.
Was it packed full of lactose?
No, not
If
this
we didn't
one.
have that Zinger Stacker Twister, I would be
been a
dead
while.
in the gutter right now.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I would never drink it again.
And Ben.
Oh, Lauren.
Yeah, certainly quite odoriferous and
Odoriferous. Is that a word?
sure is now.
This episode's now called Crowdiferous.
So yeah, and it packed a punch. It's it's got texture for a beer, but overall quite enjoy it. But it's a special occasion.
It's all
beer.
you need, isn't it? Just that one little can is plenty.
It's the
I'm
Crowdiferous
gonna go
Nutty
home.
Nips.
I'm gonna go home, and Matt's gonna be like, "What the hell have
Yeah.
you guys been
I only
doing?"
had one beer.
Well,
You can say you only had one beer.
I can list. Well, I can say 1.5.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
We didn't even talk about that. Sorry.
and do we want any? Is there any final comments on the Zinger Stacker Wrapper?
No, it was good. I would,
Zinger
have,
Stacker
I
Wrapper.
would definitely have that again.
I'd have it again. Yeah.
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 But I'm on a health kick, so I won't have one
Until
for at
next
least
Tuesday.
a month.
How long will they have them on the menu for? Does anyone know?
They'll be there.
Sam,
I reckon you could just ask for it and they'll make it.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
Good.
I mean, it's a twister with Zinger sauce in it.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
that's all it is.
Make it happen.
So for anyone still listening to this shit, should we explain what we're going to do? So if the Crows lose this week,
Oh yeah.
we won't be back next week.
We're having a week off.
gonna-
I'm
we're
sick
gonna
of these.
And it's on all episode. Lauren drops that in there.
Sick of these.
So I'm thinking that we will take a few weeks off and then we will come back for a Christmas special.
Wait, you were talking about us.
I think I was talking about. Yeah. Well. So what's the plan for the Christmas special? You want to do a variety hour.
Variety
so
hour.
Dan
Yep.
is going to sing a Weezer song.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Ben's going to do a mime show.
not.
I'm going to do a puppet show. What are you
You're
going
not.
to do, Sam?
I
Cooking-
will tell jokes.
This sounds horrible. How's anyone going to listen to this?
No, look, we're not going to do anything silly like that. But we will. If we do lose this week, we won't be back for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to do like a wrap up, and we're going to maybe get some other people involved, get some of our guests on, and try and make it a thing. I reckon.
So we're just going to get Maddie Newman on, and
Maybe. Oh
Yeah.
no, maybe not footballers, but like other people. We'll see who we can get on. Anyway,
friends
try
of
and
the
make
pod.
it.
Let's get some friends of the pod on.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
that's it,
Everyone,
we'll
this
get
is
Bozza on finally.
Maybe, yeah.
This is a pretty fluid idea, everyone. So if it falls over and fails, which it quite possibly might, we'll see you in
Yeah.
pre-season next year.
We will do something to wrap up the women's season and the season as a whole. But
Well, we need to award our Ebony Marinoff Best and
Absolutely.
Fairest trophy and our Sarah Allen Soldiers on still. So
should we win, which we probably will, we will be back next Tuesday, and this is all completely redundant.
Correct.
until the following week.
Yes.
but there is a plan. There's a plan in
I
place.
just wanted to put it now just so that if we didn't come back next week, then people are still listening to this.
Now,
and
Sam,
you-
this is all assuming someone's listening to us right
yeah,
now.
that's true. They would have switched off ages
If
ago.
you were listening to us tonight in episode 43 of Who We Crew, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Dan. Don't forget next Wednesday night, Crown and Anchor Hotel with DJ Failure coming back.
Yes, go there, DJ Failure. And Sam,
Thank you, Daniel.
no worries, and Ben.
And thank you, Lauren, as well.
Thank you, Lauren, for the KFC.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Lauren.
You're very
And
welcome.
Hit us up on the socials as you do. You've gone a bit quiet, but we're happy to still hear from you on
Anything
Twitter,
really.
Facebook,
Bakeries,
Instagram,
KFC
Hey, we
stories.
still haven't rated our bakeries.
We haven't yet. Maybe that's the variety hour. That's part of the variety hour.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good. All right,
Bye.
see you all
Bye.
next time. Bye.
Easy 1, 2, 3, mobile whip, triple shot of